Stephen, what about you? One of or the best drafts in the NBA?
Top 3, Spurs, Hornets, Suns, probably in that order.
So
for me.
Mavs not getting Cooper flag.
I mean, obviously, yes.
Okay, but putting that aside.
Okay. Because you get the number 1 pick, you typically have the best draft.
Yeah, collusion, Gerald screams from off camera.
Yeah, Spurs, Hornets, Suns for me in that order.
Okay, I love what the Spurs did, which pains me to say for sure. I like what Charlotte did too. I think they made good moves. Let's break it down pick by pick here in the second round. Trading up, the Suns started with 52 and 59. They trade 2 future second round picks for 36. They then trade 52 and 59 for 41. And then they trade 36 and 2 future first round picks for the first pick in the second round at 31 from the Minnesota Timberwolves. They take Rasheer Fleming. In a vacuum, how would you grade 31 for Rasheer Fleming?
31 for Rasheer Fleming is as an absolute grand slam. So 10 out of 10, A++++.
There you go.
However you want to rate that. 100 out of 100.
I agree.
However you want to do it.
Well, what is it? It's been a while, honestly, since we talked about Rasheer Fleming on this show. And, of course, we're clipping this as a more digestible piece. What is it about Rasheer Fleming that is such a home run at 31?
Yeah, first of all, him aligning with the defensive end of the floor before anything else. Start with the versatility. He has a 7'5", 7'6" wingspan.
And then 7'5".
7'5" wingspan. He's 6'9", 6'10". It's a player that does a ton of things that you need from the defensive side in the front court. Can switch, can hedge, can play drop, rebounds extremely well, is active in the passing lanes with deflections. You can cross-match with him and put him on 5s and allow for your 5s to play non-shooters and allow for that to kind of build out a defensive process for you. And then on the offensive end, he's a player that's operated as a number 1, number 2 option before. So he has a skill set and he has things that he can go to make things happen on offense, even if his shot is not falling. But to the shot point, 41% on wide open catch and shoot 3-point opportunities last season was really, really good. You imagine with Jalen Green and Devin Booker and potentially other pieces that the Suns might add, a lot of the shots that he's going to be taking are going to be wide open. If they're not, he can put the ball on the deck and attack closeouts as well.
Yeah, I love how he fits with Maluach. I love how he fits with Mark Williams. I love how he fits with Ryan Dunn. I love how he fits with Devin Booker. I want to get to the super chat from Mike B that he sent in a little bit earlier. Thank you so much, Mike B, for your patience. Says, love the vibe and the new roster. Feel the Mark deal was already agreed on before number 10. LOL, all good though. No on trading done. I've always stood with Matt Ishbia. Love the vibe and the new roster, Stephen, is something that I think I'm going to have as the biggest takeaway here. We're obviously going to like the individual players that the Suns drafted, but the feeling behind the fan base has completely shifted as opposed to 5 days ago when Kevin Durant was on the precipice of being traded and what the reaction was when he was traded. And then you get Maluach last night, Mark Williams last night, trade up for Rasheer Fleming, and eventually take Koby Brea. I tweeted last night, A++++ draft if the Suns end up with Rasheer Fleming. They did, but they didn't stop there, and I think that's a really important part. I am pretty high on the Koby Brea drafting at 41, an absolutely elite sniper, sharpshooter for the Suns, a buildable skill. Does he have some weaknesses and some deficiencies? Yes, but we're talking about one of, if not the best shooter in the draft, not named Con Knipple, going at 41 to the Suns. What is it about his game that you love so much?
The high volume of movement shooting. That's such a unique skill. Some players have it in standstill. Some players can only do so effectively off of the dribble. But when you can do so off of movement, the way that bends a defense, and it gets a certain type of attention that's hard to recreate in any other context of play. And those guys, especially if they can have one other skill to maybe not even complement, but just add to their bag. If you get a movement shooter with the handle, or if you get a movement shooter that can also make connective secondary playmaking reads, which Koby Brea can, that's an offense in and of itself because of the attention that it has to get from a defense. And now imagine him coming off of a wide pin down with Maluach or Williams. They set a screen for him. He comes off. He gets into the shot. They have to step up and get attention, and now that leaves them wide open on the roll, and it's not a pick and roll literally, but it serves the same purpose as opening up secondary layers of your offense.
Alien Aztec in the chat says, kind of like Cam 2.0. The shooting I love, but he's smaller than Cam. He's definitely not going to be playing power forward.
He doesn't have the same handle that Cam did coming into the league either.
But off the dribble shooting, he's in one of the top percentiles in college, one of the best shooters in college, and has been over a long time. 22-year-old senior out of Kentucky, but played at Dayton beforehand. Just a lot of really great stuff. We do have some news coming down here. We talk about two-way players. I've been very big at saying I would love Ryan Nembhard on the Suns as an undrafted free agent, a point guard who led the country in assists per game last season, especially for that summer league squad, would be amazing. That is not the news that we're talking about here. According to Jonathan Gavoni, of course, over at Draft Express, Appalachian State's CJ Huntley has agreed to a two-way contract with the Phoenix Suns. Huntley had a good draft process beforehand. He is a forward/center, 6'11", 221-pound senior who averaged 15.7 points per game, 8.1 rebounds per game, 1.1 assists per game, just under a block per game as well, only 1.5 personal fouls, shooting 49.3% from the field, 35.6% from deep. Let me look at what those attempts are. Now, he actually attempted 3.8 attempts per game and 35.6%, making just over 1.4 attempts per game as well. So the idea of a stretch big in CJ Huntley, how do you feel he might factor into a summer league roster and maybe on the Valley Suns? Obviously, we were not watching his film before this because he was not somebody that we expected the Suns to target in the draft.
What I would continue to say is that anybody that's being brought into the Suns, whether it be for summer league or for the actual roster, it's going to be a specific trait or two that Jordan Knott has in mind that feels they can add to the context of play that he's trying to build a boat out of. And with that is going to come opportunity for Huntley with the Suns on the not G League yet at least, but with the summer league. I think that's going to be a really big stepping stone opportunity for Jordan Knott to really kind of put his initial fingerprint and stamp on things.
Yeah, I'm not going to just sit here and talk out of my ass about a guy that I haven't watched his film, but I will tell you this. We will look at his film, and we will give you a breakdown on that on an upcoming PHNX Suns show, but wanted to pass that news along. Steven, is there another undrafted free agent that you want the Suns to target? Is there anything that can sway your opinion on this draft and make it a little higher, or do you feel like with the 3 picks that they got, I mean, about as solid as they could get?
Yeah, with the 3 picks that they made, that's as solid as it gets for me. I mean, I gave them an A. And the only way they would have got an A+ is if they found another way to get someone else sooner than or get them on better value with the pick that they made.
Yeah.
Only name I'm thinking about is Bryce Williams. I just continue to bring him up as a piece that stood out to me that has some qualities I feel like translate to the NBA level and fits as far as a bigger wing that does a lot of different things.
Yeah, I like that name, R.J. Lewis out of St. John's, as a do-it-all type of wing. That
Nembhard, of course.
And Nembhard. I think Nembhard's priority number 1.
Yes.
I know that he's very small, but at minimum to have a guy who is actually looking to pass the ball in Summer League,
that's a difference maker.
It would be a godsend.
It's such a difference maker, yeah.
And especially for a guy like Maluach as well, who cannot create on his own. Because here's something that I'm a little bit worried about when it comes to Summer League specifically, is Maluach and Koby Brea and Rasheer Fleming. What do all 3 of them have in common as far as deficiencies?
They can't really create their own shots.
Exactly. And what I don't want is people freaking the hell out. The 3 guys who we know their deficiencies are making their own shots and are being drafted to play on a team with Devin Booker, going to Summer League and not being able to thrive, right? And so I want somebody there, whether it is a Ryan Nembhard or whoever it is, a point guard to actually look to facilitate. I don't know if Gillespie's going to play Summer League. I'd be a little surprised.
Yeah, I would be surprised by him, and he might not even have contract clarity before then either.
So I think it's definitely going to be a little bit interesting to see what they do with that point guard spot at Summer League. Back to the draft, though. When you factor in Mark Williams, could you have imagined a better scenario for the Suns leaving here on Thursday night than walking away with Maluach at 10, trading a 29th pick and a future first-round pick that's the worst of 3 teams in 2029, an expiring contract in Vasa Micic for Mark Williams, who sure has concerns, but is still Mark Williams, drafting Rasheer Fleming in the 2nd round, and Koby Brea at 41. Now, you did give up all of your 2nd-round draft capital to do that. Is this what you would consider possibly best-case scenario.
Yeah, because respectfully, when you can upgrade in talent at positions of need the ways in which they did, it's F the picks. That's what you need. You need to be making a significant step in the right direction and providing some roster clarity to your new head coach who needs specific styles of players that your rosters in the last 2 seasons simply did not have in any capacity.
We all silly like the mayor.